If you want to know what it's like working in a comic shop or running a comic shop in 2020,
This is it.
It's weird people who don't care about comics or don't care about stories finding stuff on websites and then rushing out to buy them and being really weird about it and making it very uncomfortable to be a store trying to sell stories to people.
This goes out to the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
It feels like I just did another one of these, or another two of these, I guess.
You did.
Wow. Okay. Then it's not just me feeling overly busy. Also, you can immediately hear the air conditioning going off. I did not turn it off on purpose. I would like to have it on.
Yeah, of course. It's hot out today.
It just makes it a little bit louder. Can you guess the temperature the store got up to today? I will tell you the thermostat was set at 76.
77 degrees.
81.
It's a little high.
It climbed to 81 right a little after, like around 4:30. But by the time I left around 5:30ish, it was down to 79.
Okay. That's pretty good.
So it wasn't, it's not terrible. It held for a while today, I'll tell you that. But you know how it is.
I do.
This is like a return to form.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't done one of these episodes in a while, where on the day we're recording, I worked and you didn't.
Yeah.
Because this is the first day that I worked and you didn't work.
Oh, man.
In forever.
Oh, man, it was so good.
Right?
I specifically blocked out nothing for today.
Sure.
Like, there have been other days that I've had off, like Thursdays or Sundays, where it's like, okay, well, I have these things I've got to do, these errands or these projects or these, like, little life things that you've got to take care of when you're not working. Today, specifically, was like, nothing. I'm planning, nothing. I want to achieve, nothing. Didn't shower. Like, it sat around all day. It was great.
Good. I'm
it
glad.
was really good. Like,
you deserve that day. You deserve those all the time.
I don't know about deserved, but I certainly grabbed hold of it with both hands and held on tightly for a good 7 hours.
Or just gently
really good.
Nuzzle up to it as you napped.
Really good.
I tried to not bother you at all today, but I did have a few questions. But I only
no biggie.
I only asked those questions once I saw you were online.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I was asleep all day or whatever.
Right,
like,
I know, but
so it's fine.
But instead, I got to go in, and this day was off the rails immediately. It was such a cluster of a day. Let me see if I can remember the words that Lucifer is teaching Trixie. Oh, man, what? Like, sock muffer? Cluster truck?
Okay.
Yeah, Trixie's a little girl.
I hope.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely a cluster truck. So much so that I had a list of things I wanted to do because I haven't been in the store in forever. I didn't get to do anything I wanted to until 3:30.
Wow.
That's how long it took to do everything else that just piled up. And Gina and I did, mainly Gina, but the task needed, one needed my direct involvement, the other just needed me barking out orders. Literally yelling from across the store, "Shift Gotham!" Yeah, and like my to-do list is still, like, I guess I'll get back to it next Friday.
Yeah, one of the tricky things about the abbreviated operating hours we have is that it also truncates what we're able to do as projects go.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Like, when you're used to having 8 hours and you only have 6, it's like those extra 2 hours are where you do special projects.
Yep.
Losing that feels way more detrimental to your workflow than, being open less days or whatever. It for some reason those 2 hours are just like, oh, that's where I would have gotten ahead on whatever. Nope.
But there were a lot of customer questions, a lot of interactions. We'll start off right away with the email we sent out to subscribers on Friday that tell you, here's what's coming out for you next week. Here's also the full list of everything else coming out. However, because, stop us if you heard this,
DC
Comics has left Diamond Comic Distribution, this is the first week we're not getting DC Comics from Diamond.
Yeah.
Now, we know what we're getting.
Right. So the thing of it is that once we receive the books, we'll be able to do all the regular subscription stuff. It's just receiving them in a different way than Diamond normally does it. The main problem is that normally we're able to download a copy of the invoice beforehand, and that sort of sits in our database as a pre-received list of items. And that pre-received list of items is how we're able to send out emails to subscribers to say, hey, here's what's coming in for you. The DC stuff doesn't enter our system the same way. It's just received. It never exists as pre-received, which means that there's no way to populate emails to tell subscribers, hey, here's what DC books you're getting in, at least until Diamond is able to get that data into their system from distributors like Lunar or UCS. That is still an ongoing process that is not done yet, unfortunately, and we would have loved for it to be done before we started receiving DC stuff.
You say not done
Lunar.
yet, like it's close.
I mean, they're working on it. I don't know if they're 90% done or 9% done, but they're working on it.
True.
So, yeah, like that means that when we send out the weekly emails now, at least until Diamond is able to get that information synced up with their systems, we cannot tell people in advance through automated emails what DC books they're getting in. And we put a message to that effect in this week's email, a paragraph-long thing that I wrote that I bolded for emphasis, telling people pretty much what I just said, which is that, we're still getting the books, we're still pulling them from people. It will not be reflected in the emails until Diamond and the other distributors get everything synced up. Which, of course, led to immediate responses from the subscriber emails that were sent out this morning saying, hey, where are the DC books that I'm down for? Immediately.
Not like that. It was just...
Within minutes.
It was, I should be down for this book, or don't forget about this book, or don't forget about this.
Uh-huh.
And...
Within minutes.
See, Dal, you know what your problem was? You didn't make that the very first thing or put it in the subject line.
I put it directly, and this is the thing that kills me, it is the paragraph directly above
your list of titles.
Where the list of titles are for people. So literally, like, you read that, and then the next thing you read, which means you have to skim the email to get to where the books are, to be able to say, hey, I'm not down for certain things. And the paragraph directly above that is the thing that says, here's why those things aren't listed. Like, directly above it.
Yep. So, here's what everybody got who said, hey, what about these books?
I saw one of them.
Yeah. That's what everybody got. It said, as was in the email, cut and paste.
Here it is.
And I sent it to everybody, and I know it might sound abrupt, but we had to do that to a bunch of people.
Yeah, and the reason why you're going to get the curt response is because we already went to the trouble of doing the extra work so you wouldn't have to ask. When you ask afterwards, it's like, now I'm doing twice the work. Like, yeah, I could have just waited until you asked and then sent you this email, but I got out ahead of it so I wouldn't have to do it 7 times, and I just did one that went to hundreds of people.
It goes back to this old chestnut, which happened today. Special order comes in, you call the person, you get their voicemail, you leave a message, a detailed message saying, hey, your book is in, we'll hold it for this long, cause this much, blah, 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 whatever. Then you get a phone call back, yeah, this is so-and-so, you called me? And what you're saying is, your time is not valuable, so here's my new response, and it's me being a total asshole? Yeah, you called? Yeah, I guess. I probably left a message, though. Oh, I didn't check it. Oh, I'll let you go so you can go check it.
All that information is in there. You can listen to it again and again and again forever.
So, a guy, that happened today.
Yeah.
Guy had a book, and then he came and got his book.
Yeah.
I mean...
My least favorite variation on that...
I feel like an ass doing it, but also I feel good.
My least favorite variation on that is when people call up, and they don't even identify themselves. Like, you just answer the phone, Challengers, this is Dal. Yeah, you just called me? Maybe, who is this? Oh, because when they're calling, frequently, when they say you just called me, what they mean is, I just looked at my phone and saw a notification, because I've probably called 4 other people after I called them.
Yes. It was a stack of calls today.
Sure.
Oh my goodness, was it a stack of calls.
We got multiple orders in, and multiple orders means multiple people are going to need to get called.
Hey, do you know why we got another 112 Captain Marvel?
We shouldn't have.
It was on the invoice.
I mean, but we already got it this week.
Okay, but we got one today.
I mean, I'd have to look at that packing.
All right.
I did not order one.
That
Full
was
stop. Didn't order one. It probably was someone.
That was
somewhere.
all my question.
No, I mean, of course, I didn't order one.
I'm like, oh my god, it sold that quick?
No, it probably was something where like the fulfillment orders, it just got it got double fulfilled.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to look at it. And we'll have to see if we get invoiced for it. Were we invoiced for it twice?
I mean, it was on a packing list.
Right, but was it on next week's invoice?
Excellent question. I don't think so.
Okay, I mean, I'll check tomorrow.
Yeah. Also, they had sent us. We ordered a copy of Strangers in Paradise Pocket Graphic Novel Volume 2, and we got one shrink wrap bundle
Okay.
of several.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. So anyway, of the people that got the, hey, the email, like, here's what the email said, one person wrote back and said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm dumb. Which then led to me saying, hey, don't worry about it. You're not the only person. That's why you just got that cut and paste.
Yeah.
So everybody else probably thinks that we're mad at them. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say mad so much as irritated.
Yeah. Today was definitely an irritated day.
Well, you haven't worked Fridays in a while.
Well, sure, but
so you've missed
Friday, like, I've been working Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Let's face it, Wednesdays should be more irritating than Fridays.
Maybe.
We had some people in from out of state who wanted that new rare Walking Dead comic.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, it's Negan Lives over in the new stuff, blah, 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 blah. So comes back up with the Alien.
Okay.
I'm like, this is not the one from this week. This is actually rarer, but this one came out in November of 2019. But it's a reprint of a digital story that came out a few years ago. Oh. Well, I want the one that you only were allowed to order like 50 copies of. Like, okay, that's neither of them. So, I like Negan Lives when it came out this week, but it wasn't. It was matched to the last issue of Walking Dead. It wasn't orderable, but it wasn't capped, and you can reorder whatever you want. It is a widely available book, and he was confused, and he didn't get it, and he didn't get it. So he finally wound up buying a copy, comes back a half hour later, comes up to the counter with a stack of Negan Lives.
Weird.
And he's like, yeah, I just called my people in New York. They didn't even get this. I'm like, I can't tell you that.
Yeah, man.
You already bought one. We have a limit. It's like, oh. And he had two friends with him. Like, he had a younger child and a friend. And the friend was paying with a New York Mets credit card from the last time he was in, so we had a chit-chat about that.
Sure.
So he turns around and tries to give it to the other, and I just went, I'm
standing
here.
You're
not doing that.
I'm literally
You're
standing
not doing
right
that.
here. Don't. This isn't some.
He's like,
some corporate policy that
I'm
I
just
have to follow the letter of.
Pointing to the sign, I'm like, look, man.
This is our policy.
And then he goes, well, he's not my son or anything.
I don't care.
Because when he goes to hand to the kid's like, oh, I'll go put these back for you. And he's like, no, you're going to buy these.
No,
you're not.
My God.
And afterwards, Gina's like, I'm so glad you did that.
I hate that so much.
Like,
again, the people who treat it like I would do it, but the boss is going to get mad at me. So thank you for doing such a trivial thing that then I have my hands clean so I can sell you these. No, man, this is our rule. Like, I'm one of the owners. I helped devise this rule. You're not getting around anything. You're doing it right in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm the guy you're trying to circumvent. Don't pretend like this is just, I'm following the letter of the law.
And also,
no, man.
Like, I really pitched the Alien. That's the rare book.
Yeah.
That's the rare Walking Dead book. Get that.
It doesn't matter. Like, as always, I don't think people even know what they're buying. Like, so many of the people that we have this problem with, it's not like they legitimately care about the book or that they're excited about it.
No.
It's someone somewhere told them that's the rare one. And oftentimes they don't even understand what it is or why it's rare. This guy who comes up to the counter had no idea what the process was for Negan Lives. Just heard it was rare. Apparently something somewhere in the grapevine got to him as, like, only 50 per store. And it's like, that's not even close to correct.
I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of stores that didn't get it. Those are stores that don't carry Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's also.
We also had several customers ask to add it to their list.
Why can't this industry just go away already?
It's just a thank you one shot.
It's so dumb. It's all so dumb.
Can you tell me which comic book title I had to straighten the pile of 3 separate times off the shelf today because people are just like digging through it to try to find rare issues.
Thor?
Thor, you got it in one.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it recently. People got real dumb about that issue 5, and now so a ton of people who only were looking for issue 5 are now like, well, there's probably other parts, and it's like there was one before this, 2, I think, maybe 2 or 4.
4 really had the first I thought
was like ridiculous. Like we had a bunch of people who weeks after it came out were like, "Do you have that issue?" And it's so long ago I don't even remember anymore. But it's so man, it's so dumb.
Yep.
I didn't have to deal with this today, and it made me so happy. And now I have the same stress of having dealt with it all day.
I'm sorry.
Like literally talking about this just makes me so disappointed and angry and stressed and frustrated. And I hate it so much. I hate this aspect of the market.
Well,
with every fiber of my being. It is genuinely a thing that makes my life worse every single day. Even days I don't work, it makes my life worse. Every single day.
I bet the podcast listeners would enjoy us not talking about it.
Maybe. I mean, but like, here's the thing. Like, if you want to know what it's like working in a comic shop or running a comic shop in 2020,
This is it.
It's completely this. It's weird people who don't care about comics or don't care about stories finding stuff on websites and then rushing out to buy them and being really weird about it and making it very uncomfortable to be a store trying to sell stories to people. Like, it is genuinely the worst part of my life. Like, full stop. Like, there's no other element of my life that causes me as much disappointment, anger, and stress as speculators, as people who just... and it's every dumb aspect of it. It's stupid things like, you know, them digging through piles and looking for things that they can't really describe because they don't even know why they're asking for it. It's people trying to circumvent limits because they've got... And I've said it before, it cracks me up in the most gallows humor way, but, you know, speculators are the most friendly people in the world because they all have friends that can't make it to the shop that they have to get extra copies for.
Yep.
The friendliest people on the planet. They all have anywhere between 1 and 10 friends that just couldn't get to the store today, and they really want this comic that they didn't even know how to ask for 2 minutes ago. That conveniently is the one that everyone's asking about today. What a weird coincidence. These poor friends of theirs.
Or if they always have to ask, like, do you have this cover for Thor? Which was like the 1 in 25. And you're like, no, sorry. Oh, yeah, my friend was looking for that one. Oh, it wasn't you. It was your friend.
Oh. This friend of yours is so out of luck. I feel bad for them every single week.
There was a guy today, or not today, Wednesday, who was buying 2 of something, and I can't remember how... Like, sometimes I go, oh, it's so good you're going to read it twice, or something like that. But I don't think it was that line this time. But it turns out, like, oh, no, he's buying extras for a service friend of his, and he's getting the whole set and sending them out there.
That's cool.
I'm like, oh, all right, I buy that.
Yeah, and
that's
I mean,
legit.
we've had subscribers, get down for multiple copies of something because they're like, my brother doesn't read comics, but every year I want to give him this series for, like, Christmas or whatever.
Sure.
But
yeah.
These are the exceptions that prove the rule. The fact that we can name the 2 times it's happened shows that every other time it's just people trying to scam as many copies as they possibly get because they're going to flip them today online. It's just...
Yeah, you know the rule. If you want, you can pre-order as many copies of any book you want, but you got to tell it to us before our order's going.
Yeah, we had a guy email because he wanted a Thor number 5 print cover. Had somehow got it into his head that it was coming out July 8th, and I had to go, we haven't even closed our orders on it yet. Like, it's not coming out for another 3 weeks.
Which is great, because he can order whatever he wants.
So I just said, how many do you want? He said he wants 3. And again, our limit would be 2 copies per person per day, but if you pre-order it, order whatever you want.
Your limit is whatever you want.
He said 3. All right, I'll order you 3. I'll give you an email when it comes in. Easy peasy.
There are a couple of club members who suddenly want the variant cover to next week's Batman.
Okay.
One was on the club ad list, and I just crossed it off and didn't do anything for it.
Okay.
And the other one was an email that I noticed as I was sitting down here just now. Because I stopped checking email after 4 o'clock because I was finally time to do tasks.
Sure.
So that one didn't get taken care of.
That's fine. Was that Jesse?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take care of it tomorrow.
Yeah. Also, there is a stack of manga graphic, like 4 or 5 manga hardcovers on the side counter because there was literally no room.
Yeah.
But during the course of the day, enough things were bought.
Uh-huh.
However, there just wasn't time to go put it back on the shelf.
Sure, that's fine.
So you can have your help tomorrow. Because you got to rearrange everything from, like,
I do.
the middle section all the way down to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that got left for you.
It's the manga section is a nightmare right now because
Yeah.
we absorbed 2 full bookshelves from River North, and we only had 2 bookshelves in Bucktown, and they were pretty much 85% full.
Yeah.
So even pulling, like, we could do duplicates and stuff on the shorter bookshelves, but the problem is even single volumes, there's just too much
There's
stuff.
too much, yeah. Yeah.
There's just way too much. So it's probably going to get pruned out maybe by me on Saturday. I don't know.
Okay.
But one of the things I do want the help to do on Saturday is restock some of the other stuff that we had overflow of, other sections that we maybe have sold down on and can put a few more in.
Sure.
I'd wanted that to be a Kent job on Thursday, but he had enough to do. It was fine.
So, also, one of the things that really hasn't been an issue kind of reared up a little bit today, and that is face masks.
Oh, jeez.
We almost got to a point where we had to limit people in the store because we started to get full.
Yeah, one of the problems I've been seeing on Saturdays, and it'll probably continue to be a problem on Saturdays and Sundays going forward,
Is it groups?
Groups. Families. If a family of 4 comes in and another family of 4 comes in, we're at basically 80% of our current capacity.
Yeah.
That's a problem because we do have a lot of families in the neighborhood that come in groups of 4 and 5. So that's the thing that unfortunately may see a few days, weekends in the summertime that we may have to say, hey, we need people to wait outside.
Yeah.
Or we may have to ask people like, hey, if you're browsing, can you please like wrap it up? Like,
we did have one guy who was in forever, but he bought 4 Batman trades.
That's cool.
But he was a guy I'm like, hey man, you need to put your mask up. And then later, hey man, you need to, but like he wasn't a guy who was taking it down. It just slides.
Right. And some people do that. They have a tough time with it. The mask doesn't fit right, or they're just not paying attention.
But so like the few people that walked in are like, hey, do you mind putting your mask up? Fine.
Yeah.
2 specific people. One, the magazine box guy.
Sure.
Comes in and it's down like just under his lip, and I didn't catch it, but Gina did.
Sure.
So she's like, do you want me to go tell him? I go, oh, I got it. And so as I'm limping over to him, I notice it's not even on his face anymore.
Oh, he just
Like,
had it up to
excuse me,
his
sir.
chin when he walked in.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir, because he's not looking at all. And as I keep getting closer, and he finally looks, I'm like, do you have a mask? Oh, yeah, and it was in his pocket. So I walk up and I stand there waiting till he puts it on.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple you would recognize immediately. The guy spends a while in the store, and his companion usually tries to goad him into being quicker. He doesn't like being there.
Sure.
Well, this time she left and went to Starbucks.
Sure.
So she comes back from Starbucks, and she's carrying 2 iced drinks,
Okay.
but doesn't have her mask on.
Sure.
Which, you're going to Starbucks. It's 100 yards away. Why would you take your mask off?
Yeah. Plus, if you're carrying them, like I assume you have to have your mask on when you go into Starbucks.
Yeah.
And you pick up 2 drinks. How did you pick up 2 drinks and take your mask off?
Well, she was holding the drinks in a carry tray.
Okay.
So Gina's like, hey, could you please put your mask on? And she's like, yeah. And so she goes to put it on, and of course, drops the iced coffee all over the floor.
Oh, gosh.
And she's like, that's why I didn't want to put it on.
Why did you
It
take
should
it
have
off?
already been on. However, to her credit, she was extremely apologetic. Gina's like, I got this. She's like, no, I'll help. Like, she was almost in the way, like, you know what? Back up. You're in first place. But she's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Can I? And she was going back to Starbucks to
get another iced coffee.
She's like, can I get you anything? Is there anything you want? I'm so sorry. Like, here, let me do that. And then Gina's like, I got it. But Gina thoroughly, cleaned everything up with paper towels, sprayed it with the carpet spray, let it dry, vacuumed it up. And for each step, the woman's like, I'll do that. And Gina's like, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
This is not your job.
And then after they finally leave, Gina's like, I'm really sorry. That was my fault. And I go, in no way was that your fault.
Yeah. You couldn't have predicted that.
There was no reason for her mask to have been off.
Yeah. I mean, like, if I go to McDonald's on Wednesday, my mask is on from when I leave the store to when I come back.
Yeah.
I don't just, like, finally I'm not in a space. Like, it's 2 minutes. Just leave it on.
Now, I will say that the more I wear a mask, the more annoying having facial hair is.
Yes.
And I'm so in I just want to shave it off phase
Sure.
that you'll see that I started. I wanted just the idea of cutting something.
Sure.
So I got rid of
Sure.
the goatee area.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see if...
Are you going to get rid of the mustache and just go full Amish on it?
Yeah, maybe. Then I'd have to cut in the sides as well.
Sure.
But no, the mustache... Well, anything that pushes the hair into my mouth is what's annoying.
Sure.
So, and I get it. And my mask... Like I was wearing one of the Captain America ones today with the little nose ridge from John Dudas at Carol and John's comic shop in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, nice.
It rides up my nose a lot.
Okay.
It kind of climbs up, so I keep pulling it down, and I hate that I'm grabbing it by the bottom
Yeah.
and pulling it down. That's like, it's... But, I mean, for the most part, nobody's been like, I don't want to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
There is a fake ID card going around
Oh, my God,
that says,
it's so
I
fake.
have a medical condition.
The Freedom to Breathe Agency.
Yeah.
You know, that federal agency that we all have heard so much about in the last 80 years. I think they're having their 80th anniversary this year.
It's pretty great. There have even been pro athletes who are like, I can't wear a mask because it decreases my O2 level. It doesn't. There have been studies. There's scientific and non-scientific studies. You're not getting less air into your lung. You're not getting less oxygen into your lungs because you're wearing a mask. So wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
One of the things I had to deal with today was our very first DC Comics shipment from Lunar Distribution, Distributors. It actually showed up yesterday, which is almost insane to me.
Yeah, well, so in general, it's going to be showing up, I think, Mondays because DC's anticipated release date going forward to unify communications across all channels.
All channels.
Every channel. So many channels. As Tuesday, that means that they need to get us the books by Monday, but because Monday is a holiday, they did tell us that they would be sending them out a little earlier. So basically, like, it was supposed to be Thursday or Friday, I think, basically.
Yeah.
But Thursday is what it ended up being.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's nice to have them so far in advance.
I'm
going to read some DC Comics tomorrow night, Patrick.
They're right up there.
Did you bring all of them?
No, just brought mine.
Okay.
You're in tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying.
They pack very similar to Diamond, as in there's two inner boxes in an outer box. There's two rows of comics separated with
a little cardboard divider.
Yeah, not as thick as Diamond's, but separated. Sure. But what they do differently is the two boxes that are in the outer box are framed by thick bubble, like the bubble paper that Diamond's been using.
Oh, so if the corner of the box gets damaged, it doesn't damage the corner of the interior.
Correct.
Box, which is definitely a problem that Diamond has.
Yeah.
There's been any number of graphic novels, stacks of them, that when a reorder box gets dented by UPS, it's like, cool, that is the corner of the book. There are now 8 graphic novels that are basically too damaged to sell on the shelves.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a really good solution.
And even so we had a box of 2 boxes and a 1 box. The 1 box was even in a protective outside box with the bubble wrap around it.
That's great.
Yeah, so the shipping is good. Like, we'd heard about shrink wrapping and stuff, and we didn't have any of that, but it was fine. We didn't need it. It was fine. There was excess bubble wrap in the box on top for what we needed it.
Okay.
The quantities were fine.
Great.
And weirdly, which kind of freaked me out just a little bit, while the books weren't necessarily packed in alphabetical order or anything, the alternate covers were packed next to the title that it was for.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
So like, Batman 94 and then Batman 94 variant?
Yeah.
Neat.
So weird. So weird.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's
good. It must have been how they receive things, and they're just like, we're going to put all these together. Yeah. Like, I wonder if they pack alphabetically, where they're just like, the packing slip is Batman 94 variant, so they're just grabbing that stuff in that order.
Maybe. The pick ticket is like a 3/4 piece of paper.
Okay.
It's not a half sheet. It's not a full sheet. It's a cut out other piece. I left that for you to see as well.
Yeah. Did you just unpack? You didn't do anything else?
No, I unpacked and I alphabetized.
Okay, cool.
So they're standing up in boxes.
Okay.
I didn't do anything else because I don't know what to do.
Yeah, part of me is like, I wonder if I can just receive it through Diamond as though I was getting it from Diamond. But the problem is I think almost all the information has already been taken out of the system as far as who's down for what. So receiving it that way wouldn't really have an impact relative to just doing it through RMS Manager.
Yeah.
I'll look into that, though. Play around with it a little bit.
Play around with it. Have some fun. One of the things that we were worried about with Lunar is what the shipping costs were going to be, because we've heard horror stories, and they're shipping FedEx.
Yeah.
And we got these in one day. They sent these out on Wednesday. We got them on Thursday.
That's great. As always, I'm curious, what, with our operating hours being 11 to 5 for a while, I wonder if there's going to be a Monday or something where it's just like, nope, they were supposed to get here and they didn't.
Well,
FedEx didn't drop them off.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Uh-huh.
The Diamond reorder showed up today.
Yeah.
Which was, I didn't realize it was coming.
Yeah, I don't recall getting UPS tracking on it, but
No.
I did see that. I told you that Wednesday night they had just, like, it was listed as, like, pre-shipment, which means that Diamond had packed it Wednesday.
Yeah.
But by Wednesday at, like, 5 o'clock, it had still not been picked up by UPS from their warehouse, or at least not scanned yet.
So UPS driver says, "Hey, what time did you get here today?" I'm like, "Well, we opened at 11." He's like, I was here at 10:48.
Okay.
And I'm like, "They're not here." I'm like, "We are never here at 10:48."
I mean, there's been times I've been there, but it's a special occasion.
Yeah, but I wanted to emphasize that they don't expect it.
Sure.
I'm like, "We open at 11 o'clock every day of the week." He's like, all right, that's good to know. I go, "Hey, man, thank you so much for coming back and bringing these back today."
Yeah.
Because in my head, I'm like, because there was a monster line at Dunkin'.
Yeah.
And once I realized, like, I should get out of this line, there were 4 cars behind me and 6 cars in front of me.
Oof.
So we opened at like 11:06 today.
Oof.
Yeah. So I thought he was asking, like, I was here at 11, you weren't here. But no, he was here at 10:48.
Yeah, he was hoping that we got there a little early, and it's like, we don't. Don't ever plan on that. Don't ever plan on us being there early.
So anyway, without getting into too much detail, I was surprised by how low Lunar shipping was.
Yeah, you gave me a number, and I thought I think I guessed high because I was afraid it was going to be high.
Yeah.
But it was certainly, lower than I would have expected, and probably not a million miles away from Diamond.
Well, we can't do this type of calculation with Diamond because you can't do it.
Yeah, it's so
their shipping is
random.
always a week behind, and it's blah blah blah.
And
anyway,
yeah.
I was able to figure out that we paid 3.88 cents extra per issue per comic we got for shipping. That's not entirely accurate because some comics weigh less, but that's just a breakdown.
Yeah, the number of units divided by the amount of shipping equals
and
this amount per unit.
There were no trade paperbacks, there were no action figures or statues, so it was an even breakdown.
Sure.
So I don't think that's terrible.
No.
Especially when I was talking to 2 other retailers. One who is in the United States, who is further away from us, whose shipping was less through Lunar.
Okay.
But they didn't have the breakdown that I did.
Sure.
And one who was in a different country, i.e. continent, whose shipping is astronomical.
Sure. We've heard that from other international comic shops. Just carrying like North American comics, which they do because there's different types of comic shops in different countries, but there are some comic shops in different countries that are specifically like American superhero oriented comic shops. And boy, it's so expensive for them to carry these books. So expensive. Like
2,000% more of what ours was.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's they also, not only is it the shipping cost, but they have to pay to receive from the dock based on how many boxes they have. So that's an added cost.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I feel terrible. And I've heard so many people this week say things like, I don't have any tracking, or my tracking disappeared. I don't know what's happening. What's going on with Lunar? And so far, our experience has been fine. The only weird thing about Lunar is we haven't been invoiced yet we have the product.
Sure.
Yet if you go to the invoice section of our account, it's 0.
Okay.
And I don't expect it to change because holiday weekend.
Right.
I would love to pay the bill.
Sure.
But we don't.
You will on the 6th or 7th.
We don't have a bill currently. But, so, it's all a question of importing and tracking and subscriptions. to be able to answer, is this really better for you? Or decent?
Yeah, I mean...
Or okay?
Like, the things that we're talking about as far as, like, the receiving goes, you know, the packing's better, but everything else is just, like, negligible. Like, it wasn't things that I necessarily had huge problems with, and this is not a drastic improvement over them. The problems are all in things like how we get the data and how we're able to get that out to our subscribers, and that's a huge problem right now. That is basically robbing us of the ability to manage subscriptions for people who get DC books. We can stump for pre-orders, and they'll be able to walk in and get the books that they're expecting, but the middle section of that, where they're able to understand what comics are going to be waiting for them and if it's worth it for them to go to the store. I mean, there's a bunch of people that just get DC stuff that didn't even get an email today.
Yeah.
Then they won't get an email until Diamond and UCS and Lunar and DC all figure out how to make this stuff work together. It is a legitimate problem. So all of the minor things that are better are like, they do not in any way offset the additional frustrations that this new process has instituted. They just don't.
Well, Dale, it turns out that it's difficult to order from a lot of distributors.
Is that right?
Par example,
Mm-hmm.
there are a couple of books that we had interest in from customers and subscribers and employees. And they are only from a European distributor called Shortbox.
We like Shortbox.
We do like Shortbox.
Yeah.
We kind of don't like ordering from Shortbox.
It's a hassle. I mean, this is the whole, like, international accounts trying to get American comics. It cuts both ways.
Yeah. So there's a handful of books we wanted. A new James Stucco book. A couple other books. And
I think Rosemary Valero O'Connell had a book.
She, in fact, did.
I'll take your word for it. It's fine.
No, I just pushed it too far back.
That's why I'll take your word for it.
Because it came in today.
Oh my gosh, you have it right here.
Don't Go Without Me.
Looks great.
Of the 4 books we ordered from them, this is the only one that had a barcode.
Great.
Look at that barcode. You can't even find it.
Oh my god.
100% doesn't scan. So... Oh, I mean, it's because I put it over. I put the sticker over it.
Sure, because it
doesn't scan. Yeah.
But
so,
I see where it's
so every book has a price tag, which we hate price tag on the backs, and every book has a price written inside the front cover, and that's for all the books that came in today.
Great.
So here's the problem with ordering from Shortbox: A, their wholesale discount is not good.
No.
B, their shipping is abysmal, and this is even with a United States distributor. So we order from Shortbox. They send the order to their United States fulfillment center, and we paid so much in shipping. We paid more than double for these 4 titles than we paid for our DC Comics from Lunar this week. Actually, just about double. Not more than, but just about.
That's crazy.
And also, when you add the shipping in and their discount, our cost, or our discount, gets knocked down to 26%.
So basically we're making 26% on any book that we sell from Shortbox.
Yeah.
That's not great. That's
it's
substantially
really
lower.
It's really not a great way.
That is substantially lower than we would ever stock a book for. Basically,
like
if a publisher
Shortbox
came to us and said, we will sell this to you wholesale for 26% off a cover, we would say no thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they said, it's 26% off cover, free shipping, don't care.
Pass. Not worth it.
Don't care.
Not worth the time.
But I mean, look at this book. This book is gorgeous.
It's a lovely book, and I think they're a very good publisher.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing, they're a terrible distributor. Yeah. But that's fine. Like, I don't begrudge a publisher saying, I don't want to do wholesale because the financials don't work for me.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it.
So I'd almost rather them not sell to stores or not make it available to stores if this is going to be the prices, because the problem we have then is people are like, oh, I want to buy it through you. And it's hard to say, I would really rather you not, because the trouble that I would have to go through to get this is not worth the money I'm going to make on it. Like,
here's what
please
made it
just
even
order it through
harder
Shortbox.
Was after all the calculations and everything I did when I was ordering it, and to be able to tell people, blah, 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 this is the price. Nothing in the documentation was in dollars. It was all pounds.
Sure.
And it took me forever to go back and figure out what we actually paid.
Sure.
Basically, 1.26% of the British price is what we paid.
Okay.
Here's the quick description of Rosemary Valero O'Connell's Don't Go Without Me. You may recognize that name as the woman that did our shirt back in February of this year.
Yes.
Two lovers get separated on a night out in a parallel dimension. A ship that runs on memories malfunctions in the dead of space. A giant prophesies to wake from its centuries-long slumber beneath the sea. Don't Go Without Me presents a triptych of stories on love, loss, and a connection from master comic storyteller. Oh, and connection, not a connection. I just ruined it. Forget it. I figured you want to read one, so I brought this one home.
Please don't ask your local store to carry that. Please just order it online at Shortbox. Get them to send you one. Order it direct through the publisher. Please, 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 please don't ask your local store to carry it because they'll feel like they have to, and they are going to resent having to do that because they are making no money on it.
However, if we are your local store, we have it in stock. You could grab a copy
We
now.
do. Please don't expect us to reorder it anytime soon.
Yeah. So also, all of the Shortbox books are just stacked up next to the lunar boxes.
Okay.
Because I didn't if you want to make it new this week for next week, or
I would put them on the this week section now and then not move them
that's fine.
on Tuesday.
Honestly, I just didn't get to it.
That's fine.
This is a very busy day.
I mean, these are not brand new books in the sense of like they've been out for some of them a little while. So
that's true.
It can wait a day. It's no big deal.
So it's interesting to me that the last 2 weeks we've had one day each week where all the deliveries come.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, I definitely don't. I definitely
really don't.
Definitely don't like that. You know what else I don't like?
What's that, Patrick?
The way Marvel Comics is gobbling up properties.
They are, yeah. They picked up a couple new ones that I don't care about at all.
I don't care about any of these, and I don't want to.
I think some of them could work. The three that they picked up, I guess 4 technically. Warhammer, Aliens, Predator, and Aliens versus Predator.
Does Warhammer 40K count in that as well?
I think of Warhammer as Warhammer 40K,
okay,
which I think is like the main one they're going to be doing to start with.
And I just assume if you have Aliens and Predator, you have AVP.
But like I saw places that specifically called out that they have AVP as well, as though that was a thing that certain people will only experience those characters in.
Sorry, we just got an email from Lunar. That's the headline. The subject
Why
is
haven't you paid your invoice yet?
Payments to Lunar. Yeah.
But anyway, Warhammer 40K. I don't. I'm aware of it. I don't care about as a reader. I think they have Kieran Gillen on it to start with.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal. I don't know if Kieran Gillen fans will necessarily follow him to a licensed property like Warhammer 40K. It's not quite Star Wars as far as the ubiquity of it.
Wait, hold on. It's what you're telling me is that Kelly Sue DeConnick fans don't care about Aquaman.
Weirdly,
I won't hear of it.
Weirdly.
I won't hear of it.
Weirdly. So there are Warhammer 40K fans that probably will pick it up. When Boom had it, I think Boom, we didn't really have anyone, like more than 1 or 2 people at a given time down for Warhammer 40K. I would expect our Marvel number to be sub numbers, 3 or 4 copies maybe.
Yeah.
We'd probably do maybe 10 copies for the first issue just to see where it goes.
Here's a Boom Warhammer trivia question.
Uh-huh.
Years and years and years ago,
Yeah.
Ross Ritchie was asking me if he knew of anybody that they could hire to do promotions for that brand, like be the online promoter of that book.
Uh-huh. The Warhammer 40K street team.
Yeah, but he didn't. He phrased it in such a way that I thought he was asking me to do it. and I'm like, I don't know anything about this. I don't like it, but I like Ross. So I'm like, yeah, right, fine, I'll do it. And he's like, I wasn't asking.
Yeah.
But I did it for a little while, and we all quickly realized, I'm not your guy.
No, not for that.
But it was, I would have conference calls with, like, Dan Abnett.
Uh-huh.
But they had to be, like, really weird times for me because he's 6 hours ahead.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know this property at all. I'm not the guy to do it.
No, at all.
So very briefly, I did that job, and I did it badly.
Yeah. The bigger get for them relative to Warhammer 40K is the Aliens Predator stuff. They released some David Finch promo images that showed the alien on the Guardian ship and the Predator holding Iron Man's helmet on top of Avengers A. But they also, in the press releases and stuff, quickly said, these are just to show you kind of what Marvel will do with them, not necessarily specific stories we're going to be doing. That said, of course they're going to do an Aliens versus Guardians of the Galaxy story. Of course they're going to do a Predator versus Avengers story.
They outright said the first things they're doing are just filling out stories in the Alien and Predator universe. So they're not doing immediate Marvel crossovers.
Right, but of course they will. Like, they know that that's what will be a big deal, more than just doing Aliens and Predator stories, because they've seen Aliens and Predator stories coming out from Dark Horse for years.
Right. My point is, why not immediately do that? Who cares about the rest of it?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing they're going to do is follow their standard licensed property template, which means which one is Jason Aaron going to write is a thing we'll have to figure out, as well as, do you give the other one to Donny Cates or do you give it to Al Ewing?
Yeah.
So this is the only decision-making process that's going on at Marvel right now. Is, and again, if you count Aliens versus Predator as a third leg of the Aliens Predator stool, then those are your three creators. I don't know which one they're going to land on. Feel free to brainstorm your own ideas on which one of the three Al Ewing will write versus which one Donny Cates will write versus which one Jason Aaron will write. But just assume for the initial arcs for all three of those properties, those are your three writers, because this is Marvel Comics and it's 2020.
I am pitching a storyline for Marvel. It is an updated version of Contest of Challengers. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Champions.
Whoops.
This is Contest of Challengers.
Comics Industry Business Podcast on the Accidental Podcast Network.
Or, not.
Or just in general. Just on every network.
A new version of Contest of
channels.
Champions, where it is the heroes and villains versus the aliens and predators. That's right, the aliens and predators team up for the first time.
Wow.
Because that's a thing you could do.
Sure, that sounds like a comic book that could get made.
Right?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about aliens and predator stories. I honestly never have. I don't think at this stage I ever will. I
read the Batman Aliens or Batman Predator stuff they did.
Like, I think
Wildcats Aliens was good.
Wildcats Aliens has my all-time favorite comic book story.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, in the production of comic books, it is my favorite story about how a comic book got made.
I think we've talked about it before.
We definitely have.
But you need to go look it up if you don't remember.
Yeah.
Look up Wildcats Aliens Gil Kane.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good.
A good story. Anyway.
Yeah, I know what aliens look like.
Uh-huh. Do you want a reference? I know what I draw an alien. Okay. But I think Conan's a pretty good example of what we can expect the Aliens and Predator comics to do, in that I think there'll be an initial spike based on like the cover artists that Marvel can get and the interior artists that they might pick, and moreover the writers they're going to put on it. And that'll get people who would not have normally picked up a Dark Horse version of these characters to check it out. The Marvel logo does mean something as far as adding a certain percentage onto sales. But within 6 or 7 months, we'll see basically 25% of issue 1 sales. A bunch of tie-ins that will not be of interest to anyone. And then just a general sense of like, there was never really much interest beyond some curiosity.
Yeah,
best.
And I mean, I get it with the Dark Horse license for these characters or these properties ending. Mm-hmm. It only makes sense that Marvel does them because they're technically Disney properties now.
They are, but so it's 20th Century Fox is the technical like parent company of Aliens and Predator, which is again owned by Disney. But so is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that book went to Boom.
Yeah.
So it's not like a dialed-in thing that all 20th Century Fox stuff has to go to Marvel. And on top of that, like Conan was a thing that didn't need to go to Marvel at all, but Marvel pitched on it, I guess, and got the rights back to it.
Yeah, that's his thing. They got the rights back. Like, I get it.
Sure.
It feels weird when, like, IDW is doing ROM now.
Sure.
But I mean, how many other properties have bounced from publisher to publisher? It just happens.
Sure.
The Phantom is an example.
Transformers.
Doc Savage. What was that first one?
Transformers.
That doesn't ring a bell.
Okay.
I'll have to look into that. Oh, wait, I won't. Definitely won't. But, as you pointed out, we don't need these books. Marvel doesn't need more things to publish.
Yeah, certainly at this stage when a lot of stuff that we're still waiting for them to reschedule has yet to be rescheduled, which to my mind means that this was probably something that was been in the works for a little while, and ordinarily would have been the sort of thing they announced at San Diego Comic-Con, but that's not happening, so here's an announcement.
What? I have my tickets. I'm leaving in 2 weeks. Also, I need that weekend off.
Okay.
I'm going to be out of town.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have to quarantine for 14 days when I come back.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, technically, you should probably leave now, quarantine when you get there, go to the show.
Oh, no, they don't care about that.
They should. California? Oof,
yeah.
They should.
They want less... they want more clean people to come in to infect.
Oh, okay.
That's rude.
It really is.
Sorry. I mean, it's a lot of people's faults, but I'm sure Chicago's going to see huge spikes this weekend.
Yeah, I had a dental cleaning. I mean, my teeth cleaned and expected by a dental person.
That's the glow from over on your
Thursday.
side of the studio.
And then a bunch of time talking to the hygienist about how, we're probably going to get shut down again. And then I stopped and got food at a place I like out in the suburbs and talked to the owner there for a second and was like, probably, again, the discussion was, it's all probably going to shut down again in a little bit. Definitely seems to be the somewhat pessimistic attitude of everyone in the state of like, oh yeah, cases are going to go up and they're going to reach a point where they cannot, like the leadership in the state cannot afford to keep things open anymore.
Hey, this is unrelated, but one of my favorite emails from our alderman, for one of our aldermans this week was the whole, fireworks are illegal in the city of Chicago. You mean those things that have been going off outside every night for the last 2 months?
Come on. You're going to, like, people were like, oh, I thought it was totally legal. B, I didn't think anyone minded.
You could hear that? I thought it was only contained to my yard.
The people who are setting off car alarms at 11 o'clock at night because they're setting off incredibly loud fireworks, they know what they're doing. They do this every year.
There was
not
one
be
night
shamed
this
out of
week that they were the loudest they've ever been.
Loud.
It's like they were right outside the windows.
The next 2 nights are going to be so not fun for me. I don't know if we've mentioned this on the podcast, but the intention for us was to reopen on Sundays in July because Patrick would be going back to work on Fridays. So I would basically shift over from Fridays back to Sundays and we'd be open 7 days a week. But I realized that the first Sunday I would be in would be July 5th. And basically the night of July 4th, I can't get to bed until about 3 in the morning because of fireworks being all night right outside my bedroom window in the alleyway right outside my bedroom. So I basically said to Patrick, like, we're going to reopen on the 12th.
Yeah.
That'll be the first Sunday we'll be open. So for anyone who's like, why aren't they open on July 5th? Like, that's why. Because I will be so tired that I did not want to go into work that day. I don't know if that might be, depending on where 4th of July lands in subsequent years, we may be closed on every 5th of July. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's definitely going to be a Monday next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Provided that stores are open or
we'll see.
What have you. It's kind of interesting to me that, I mean, we know that we don't have an actual reach in the community like we thought we had.
Correct.
We found that out the hard way
River North.
with River North. But the number of phone calls every day that are you guys open yet? Yeah, we've been open for a month. It was June 3rd. Or like, when are you going to start letting people shop in the store? And I learned that when I say June 3rd, people thought I meant July 3rd.
Uh-huh.
Like, no, what I meant is we've been doing it all month.
Yes. It has been an entire month now.
But yeah, I don't know, like, we put up the Black Lives Matter banner, but we didn't put up a, we're open banner because we didn't think we needed to.
No, I mean, you would think having the open sign on the front door and the lit open sign and people walking in the front door would be sign enough. But
yes, but sometimes that sign is lit all night.
It's true.
And people can't get in all night.
It's true.
Unless it's River North.
Uh-huh.
Then they can get in any time of the day.
Feel free to browse.
We are open. Taking my notes to write up the thing.
Good idea.
Write up the thing. Any books coming out you're excited for? You went through the new previews. I did not.
Oh, gosh. That's a good question. Let me take a look.
Basically, that's hey, we have 5 minutes left. I don't have any other topics. I do have one topic we keep not talking about, but it is not a 5-minute topic.
No, it's definitely not.
But there are questions I do need to, we should address.
Yeah, I think it's maybe something that could be held off for a week. It's never going to be not topical, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. And some listeners have written in and said, are you talking about that? Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah.
Are you vaguely referencing, not talking about?
Yeah, true.
Are you alluding to?
I
have yet to go through previews, even though it came out a week ago, and it's sitting on my counter.
Yeah. Yes?
There's a new for us graphic novel from Rosemary Valero O'Connell.
It's true. Let me open up a tab real quick, and I will take a look.
As I was reading that description, I didn't know it was a trilogy. I'm like, wow, these are 3 completely different concepts. How do they link together?
How?
Oh, they don't.
Oh. I will mention, because I think I don't know if this will be up before then, so I will let everybody know. It's Heisei Week for Kamen Rider fans. The Kamen Rider Build and Zio movie.
Did I say we had 5 minutes left?
Is going to be
I greatly misjudged that timer.
Online with English subtitles legally through the Nerdist and through Bluefin Brands, I think, on July 11th.
Okay, so you're not going to watch it though.
No, because I'm not. It's a while before I'll be at Zio.
Okay, just checking.
But I'm letting other people know who are less fanatical about the franchise and less interested in watching every one. That's a good movie to check out because it was the anniversary film, and that has so many people, and they actually got people who are basically too big of a star to reprise their roles as Kamen Riders to come back for this movie. So it's a pretty big deal.
Wait, so they got people who are too big to reprise their roles
to come back
and reprise their roles.
Yeah, like they put a ton of effort in making sure that like this is not just an anniversary film, but like a big deal. I can't believe you got that person to come back anniversary film.
I also like how you said this is a great movie to start with when none of that will matter to anybody because you won't know that these are big stars.
I'll say that. Context obviously matters. You'll get more out of it if you understand what some of the people are and why it's a big deal that, for example, they got the guy who played Deno to come back and play Deno.
Oh, man. One of my favorite Kamen Rider catchphrases is "Book 'em, Deno."
Yeah. But what you will get out of this
He's not even a detective. He's a librarian.
You're thinking of Drive. There are so many colorful costumes and big action in this that I think on its own merits, just as like pure candy entertainment, I think you'd be able to get something out of it. That said, I haven't seen this film, so I can't really vouch for that. But they really did crowd it with so many different characters from the 20-year Heisei run of Kamen Rider.
Here is the alternate start to this week's episode that I wound up not going with.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Dal, I'm sorry to interrupt your back-to-back-to-back Hamilton viewing to force you into a episode of Contest of Challengers.
I assume there's going to be a lot of people who are very excited to see Hamilton on Disney Plus, though.
There are, and I know that because I've talked to many of them today, and also I think people won't be listening to this podcast because they'll be watching Hamilton back-to-back-to-back.
Well, I mean, should they find a few spare minutes, I think they could find out from us what comics and graphic novels that are coming out in September that we're excited about. I think one of the big ones for me is going to be We Only Find Them When They're Dead.
Oh, that looks so good.
Which is the new Al Ewing, Simone DeMeo book from Boom. It's, I think, Al Ewing's first creator-owned work.
I like that you say Simone DeMeo like that's a name.
Well, Simone DeMeo is an artist like Dan Mora, where it's one of Boom's better artists that they have in-house.
They will be a name because of this book.
Yeah, like
I wasn't in any way
like Dan Mora
downplaying their ability.
But like Dan Mora,
I just meant that they're not a selling point.
They got their start on, well, maybe it is to some people. I don't know. They got their start on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then from there they've been put on bigger projects, and this is a very big project that Boom wants to connect with a lot of people that don't normally follow their different licensed books. So this is a bigger artist for them to put on the book. Pretty excited about the new Iron Man by Chris Cantwell and Cafu.
Yeah, for sure.
Not a big Iron Man guy, but I like different creators' takes on it, so I'll be interested to see what Cantwell does with it.
I got a text today that I couldn't answer. Is Doctor Doom canceled?
It is not. It's just delayed. But it looked like it was going to be for a minute.
I have no idea. And then the follow-up was, do you think it's going to be canceled? And I never answered it because I don't know. Also, I'm very busy.
Yeah, I don't... There was a minute where I thought that could be one that went digital only.
And I would expect that, yeah.
But I think they are going to have at least the remaining issues in the storyline come out, which it's probably just going to go to 12 and that'll be it. Yeah. Especially with Cantwell doing Iron Man. I don't know if that's somebody who wants to be doing multiple ongoing series. The two big ones from Image, I think, that I'm pretty excited about. Stillwater, which is the Chip Zdarsky, Ramon Perez book. It's like a small-town horror story. There's some preview pages that look appropriately creepy. It is a town where no one dies, and that's not a good thing.
Ugh.
Having watched the Torchwood miniseries, that's whole premise was, what if everyone stopped dying?
Yeah.
That got really, really horrific. So there's a lot of fun ideas you could do with that. And then the Alex DeCampi, Erica Henderson graphic novel, Dracula Motherfucker.
I thought it was
Dracula, Mr. Falcon.
There you go.
It's only 72 pages, which kind of bums me out. That's not very big. That's definitely more novella-sized, like the November graphic novels have been.
Yeah.
But I like both those creators. I think the idea of doing a Tarantino-esque Dracula story, I think, is pretty fun. Yeah, it just looks really like a good month for books. There's a bunch of stuff coming out in September that I'm excited about, and that's not even counting all of the delayed stuff that is finally seeing release in September.
That's what you say?
Yes.
You say?
I do say.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your tea that you hurl in the sea when you see me go by. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.